One night, someone knocked on my door until dawn. I didn't open it, moved twice, and that knock still found me. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just describing what happened and keeps happening. Once, an entire night, someone knocked on my door without stopping. No pounding, no handle turning, just polite, persistent knocking. After that, it started happening from time to time. I moved twice. The knock moved with me. At 2:11, I woke to 3 short knocks. Pause. 3 more. Not loud, but aimed so I would wake without alerting the building. I went straight to the door, through the peephole. Nothing. You only see slices of the hallway, but if someone's close, you still catch a silhouette. There wasn't one. The knocking continued. I sat on the floor facing the door. The rhythm held my attention, better than coffee. 3 knocks. Pause. 3. 10 minutes in, the knocking started walking across the door. Higher, lower, closer to the lock and the hinges, sometimes tracing along the bottom gap. That was the most unsettling. They weren't just standing there, they were testing. I started an audio recording. Besides the knocks, a dry scraping appeared on the track, like something hard dragging over varnish between the sets of 3. It was clear. I played it, stopped it, played it again. The scraping didn't go away. I almost said, "Who's there?" a couple of times, but talking into emptiness through a door felt worse than silence. I latched the chain and wedged a chair under the handle. I knew it was psychological, but having some kind of procedure helped. By 3:10, what broke me wasn't volume but the endurance outside. Every few minutes, the rhythm returned to the lock and hinges. Around 4:12, the pattern changed. 2 knocks, long pause, 2. The scraping now came right after each knock, like a signature. I looked through the peephole. Again, nothing. But by morning, the paint around the peephole inside looked dulled, rubbed. I remembered that. At 5:19, when the first morning sounds began, water in the pipes, a distant car, the knocking grew sparse, the pauses stretched. Then it just stopped. It didn't fade. It was like someone let go of a button. I sat facing the door for 5 more minutes. Silence. I kept the chain on until full daylight. Morning. Outside, the door had dozens of scratches, around the handle, along the lock, from the top corner down, some deep, some shallow. Fine wood dust on the doormat, a white crumb under my fingernail. It smelled like wood and metal, like keys. No shoe prints, no notes, nothing. I played the recording, knocks, scraping, and the long pre-dawn pause were all there. No breathing, no voices, nothing to latch onto. I deleted the file. Replaying that on a loop is the worst idea for nighttime. At first, silence, a week, 2. Then again, not all night, an hour or so. Same rhythm, same probing. Fresh grooves over the old ones in the morning. Another repeat later. Intervals varied, a few days, then almost a month. No exactly at 3. It felt like a check. Am I still here? I started a log. Dates, duration, pattern. No consistent pattern. There were runs of 3s, then 2s, sometimes reversed. Once a single knock slipped between pairs, like a glitch. I tried to force a code from it, no luck. I slid thin paper under the gap. In the morning there were shavings. I taped paper flags along the jamb. Some were bent by morning, as if brushed upward. I didn't build theories, just logged it. Talking to neighbors went nowhere, didn't hear anything. Makes sense, the knocking isn't loud, at 6 a.m. It's just me and my door. After another session, I realized I wasn't sleeping right and decided to move. New door and layout. A couple of weeks, perfectly, quiet. I finally slept well. Then late at night, 3 knocks, quiet, polite, stubborn. The peephole was empty. In the morning, fresh fine scratches, as if measurements were taken from the new door. In 3 months, there were 2 sessions, one about 40 minutes, the other shorter. Silence between. I installed a video doorbell with motion detection. At night, during the knock, the event was a black rectangle with a timestamp and a recording error. Daytime worked fine. I swapped cards and rebooted. Useless. It caught everything except the hour I needed. I left a voice recorder, only the first hour recorded. After that, the file was silent, though the knocking lasted nearly to 5. The card was fine, the file intact, just empty. That was the most infuriating. I caught myself simply waiting for the repeat and decided to change addresses again. I chose a thicker door, added a peephole with a shutter and an extra lock. On day one, I hung the chain and kept the peephole closed from inside. The first nights were quiet. Then the familiar knock, knock, knock. No one in the peephole. In the morning, narrow, fresh marks near the lock, like the outline retraced. These sessions were shorter, 20 minutes, an hour, sometimes with breaks. They might repeat the next night, then vanish for 2 weeks. No schedule. Once I clearly heard 3 knocks on the adjacent wall, like they tested that boundary too. In the morning, 2 pale scuffs at handle height, as if something hard and dry had dragged there. Maybe coincidence, but that was inside my apartment, not the hallway. Another time, the knocking started when I wasn't home. I came back after midnight and found fresh wood dust on the mat. Neighbors heard nothing. The night log from the camera was black timestamps again. Inside, quiet. The door had new wet scratches with burrs. I tried knocking back. Did it only the first night and immediately regretted it. There was a reply, like they tagged my spot. I tried talking through the door. Who's there? What do you want? Only silence and the same rhythm. Words are answers too, so I stopped. Tech failed exactly when needed. The video doorbell errored out. The recorder produced a silent tale. Traps like paper flags and powder at the threshold sometimes showed something had brushed past. But those are notes for me, not proof. I skipped inviting someone to stay over. It's my door and my rhythm. The only helpful thing was rules. They don't protect, but they don't make it worse. The main thing isn't who's there fear. It's the fatigue of unpredictability. The knock doesn't build a habit. It builds a reflex to listen to pauses. You live calmly for a week, start to relax. Then 2 short knocks and a long pause in the night, like a reminder I remember. Sometimes a session sticks to 3s. Sometimes after an hour it switches to 2s. Once it went 1 knock, long pause, 1 pause. And then straight to 3s, like testing attention. Why? No idea. Maybe there is no why. I'm in a 3rd place now. There are long, quiet stretches. Then a session starts out of nowhere, 20 minutes or an hour with breaks. Always no one in the peephole. Always fresh, narrow scratches in the morning, like the same hard object looking for a spot again. I stopped thinking it's about the lock. It's about me. Not daily and with no schedule, rare enough to live with, often enough to remember. Sometimes before sleep I catch myself waiting. 1, 2, 3, pause. On good nights, nothing. On bad ones, the rhythm returns, like someone checking whether I changed my rules. I haven't and don't plan to. If you're waiting for a twist, there isn't one. No break-in, no face in the peephole, no whispering my name at the door. There's one action repeated across nights and addresses. That was enough to learn. Sometimes they don't break you with force. They knock you down with patience.